Hi Stampers, it's Linda Schmidt with Stampin' with the Hounds. Today I have my final project that I'm going to share with you that was a leftover creation from my Stamp-A-Looza event that I held this past weekend. This was another kind of little 3D card that they created, and it's called a shadow box card. Super easy. This one I actually made it larger so that it fits into a 5x7 envelope. You can still, it's just normal postage still, which is nice. But again, it's kind of a little bit more substantial card. And sometimes I like changing up my card sizes so that I'm not always just doing a standard A2. So this is the 5x7 one. So when you look down, you can kind of see that I've got my little reindeer and the star kind of suspended on a little window sheet strip. And then I have the greeting then will be on the flip side, the back side of it. And then it just stands on the desk. Sorry, I've been futzing with it. So there we go. And then it stands and people can use it as a decor item, which is kind of nice for the holidays coming up. So for the 5x7 size, you need 2 sheets of cardstock cut at 9x5, and then you're going to score at a 1/2 inch and a 1 inch on either side. Then for your white cardstock or neutral, it can be whatever, that piece, you need 2 of them. I did one on the back and one on my inside. Those are 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then my designer series paper was cut at 6x4. Now, this can be a little bit bigger. The reason why I cut it at 6x4 was so that I could maximize my designer series paper and have enough for everybody to make this card with this pattern paper that I was using, because I only had a couple sheets of it. So you could up this to be 6.5 by 4.5 if you wanted to, but I just did 6x4 just so that I wouldn't have any scrap. So I've got a little bit more of a border showing on the white, but totally optional. And you can also eliminate this white paper if you just wanted to do your full size pattern paper. Could be the 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. Totally up to you how you want to do it. But that is for the 5x7. If you want to do a standard size card, this one, or what I call the A2, this one, you have, again, it's going to stand up. Instead of being the landscape, it's going to be the portrait. So this one, again, it closes up and it fits into your envelope. This one, your cardstock pieces need to be, you need 2 of them, 6 1/4 by 5.5. And again, you're always going to still score at that 1/2 inch and 1 on either side. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 1/2 inch, and then the 1 inch. And then for your cardstock, again, it would just be your standard 4 by 5 1/4. And again, on this one, I did the stamping on that white cardstock. And then I kind of glued some fish in the background. And then my moving piece is my little fish on the window sheet. And then what I did, it's kind of hard to see because it's I've got all of my sea life, or the coral and the seaweed, that's kind of adhered into the back opening here. So all of it's kind of glued up, and then I've got my my fish kind of on the side. So a lot of little pieces on this one, but again, it was kind of a fun a fun one to make. But again, that would be if you don't want to make the 5x7. And then I kind of decorated the back with that one. So that is for the A2. And then again, like I said, 6 1/4 by 5.5, score at 1/2 inch and 1. And then your cardstock for the stamping or layering, or what if DSP, that's 4 by 5 1/4. And that's for your A2. So that's just for that. So you have that to help you out. So we're going to do, like I said, we're going to do the 5x7 one. So I'm going to have my 2 pieces of 9x5 cardstock, and I'm using just jade. And you're going to grab my scoring tool. sure I get my pieces out of the way here. I have so much stuff on my desk right now. I've been doing videos all day, so I'm like, ah. Okay. So we are going to score at a 1/2 inch and a 1 inch. And then I just like to flip it over and just do the same thing. 1/2 inch and a 1 inch. And you'll do that on both of your pieces. So 1/2 inch and 1 inch. 1/2 inch and a 1 inch. And that's all the scoring. So and then you will simply, oh, sorry, let me move this so you can kind of see. Then we're going to fold once and then fold back. I'll get my bone folder. And then same thing, fold once and then fold back. So you've got these little, I would guess I would call them a valley fold. There you go. Okay. And that's on either side. So that's like that. We'll just set that aside. Do the same thing on the other one. You're just going to fold once and then fold the other one back. And then fold down and fold back. Okay, now on one of them, you will just put sticky strip on the tabs. So I'm just going to put one. And I like to use the tear and tape or your sticky strip, whatever you've got. It's just a really strong adhesive. And it kind of just gives a little bit of stability. So that we're going to set that aside. That'll be my back. And then I'm going to take my white piece and I'm going to layer one of these onto this back panel. Making sure I'm straight. And then I'm going to take some of this pattern paper. So this is some retired pattern paper. I've got so much Christmas paper. I'm like, I can never go through it in one season. So this is, I think, from a couple of years ago, or actually from last year. But I'm going to use the side that's got a little bit of the reindeer and kind of that little gold kind of foil stars. But it still had the Just Jade kind of color in here. So it kind of coordinates with my card. So I always say, you still got to use up your retired stuff. I'm a demo and I still use retired things. So, okay. Then I want to take my other white piece because I want to do this before I forget. I want to do a little bit of stamping. So this is going to be my back greeting. And I'm using the brand new, this is Evergreen Elegance. When I was going through all of my Christmas stuff, I was like, I really don't have any Christmas trees left or like pine trees. So I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'll just break down and get a new one. And because I did like the sayings that were in this one. So this is in the main catalog and it's $40.50 for the bundle. And so the bundle includes the Evergreen border punch, which is kind of a slick little border punch that does all these little pine trees. So there is no die to cut these out. So if you want to cut these out, you'll have to fussy cut them, which that's fine. But yeah, but I do kind of like having that border punch. So I'm going to stamp the greeting and I'm going to do this kind of in the crumb cake. Or actually, what did I do? Oh, you know what? This is a It's actually Tip Top Taupe. I kind of grabbed the wrong one. It's a retired color, but it's a little bit darker brown. And then my trees, I'm going to do Evening Evergreen for one of them. So I'm going to do my tall pine tree. Do one of those. And then my other one I'm going to do in Just Jade. And I'm going to overlap just a little bit. And then I'll do this tiny one, again, in Evening Evergreen. So I've kind of got the 3 different colors there. So that's my back panel. So I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on this. And then this is going to go on the back of my card. And then I can set this aside because then this is done for the time being. Okay. All right, so we'll set that aside so I don't get ink on it. Now, this is my front one, so I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to take the layering dioramas, and I'm taking the largest one that's in here, and I am going to then die cut this off. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that part off screen. So let's see. I'm going to layer cut it so kind of going like that. So I'm keeping it within, you know, my score lines here. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut this off screen. Just a minute. Okay, and then this piece, you can save it for another project. You don't need, we won't be using that. So you can save that for something else. Put that away before I lose it. Okay, so now I want to stamp my trees on the front of my card. So again, I'm going to be using this Evening Evergreen and Just Jade. And I'm just going to be alternating my trees. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll do a little bit of the Just Jade. And a little Evening Evergreen. I'm just kind of overlapping them. Sure, I end with a tall one. So I might do a little overlapping here. Okay, and then that's it for this stamping. So I'm gonna set these aside so I don't put my card into my ink pad. Clean these in a little bit. This is just my little Stampin' Chamois case that I just hold my chamois in. So we'll just put those aside. Then I'm going to take my white craft ink and I'm going to do my stars. So those little stars from that set as well. So I'm just stamping these randomly onto the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I always want an odd number. Okay, so that's all the stamping. Okay, then for my trees, the evergreen punch. So the trick that I do is, so you see how you have this little foil that shows the trees. What you want to do is you want to have your paper and it's going to be to the edge of your punch, okay? So make sure it's to the edge. And then I'm going to punch to the edge and to the back of the punch. Then all I'm going to do is I am going to then line it up. So these three trees, I'm lining up with my cardstock. And again, making sure that those are to the edge. They're lined up exactly where those mirrored images were. And I'm going to punch again. And then this way, all I have to do is just snip this little section off. And then now I have my trees that I'm going to layer behind. And if you want, because I was just thinking, because I kind of did this a little bit lower, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this. We'll do these because I want these to peek up. Okay, so we're going to then flip this over, and I just want to put a little bit of adhesive. Actually, I might use my liquid glue for this. Because I just want these. Like so. Yeah. And then we'll just put a little bit of adhesive on these. And then that way you can see these kind of peeking up on the hill, like so. Okay. So then that's all the front. Make sure this is all scored. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our window sheet, and I already cut like a strip. So it's just one long strip because I was going to cut this in half. So now I'm going to use my back panel. And I want to just remove the adhesive. And then you will need some glue dots. Where did I put mine? Oh, here they are. Okay. So what I did is, because I wanted my reindeer to be kind of like leaping up into the sky. So my window strip, if you can see that, the window strip is going to be placed on this panel at an angle, and you might need to trim it just a little bit. That way your the window sheet isn't sticking out. So I just kind of cut that at an angle, the window sheet, the edge, okay? Then my reindeer, I just kind of look at my card. Actually, I probably need to bump this down just a titch. Because then I kind of look at where I need to get him on there. So right about there, that looks good. So we're going to then cut off this part, and then we will put a little bit of glue dots. Oh, here it is. So I'm just going to put a few glue dots on here just to hold my reindeer in place. see, I'm just trying to, that'll look good. And then the other strip, we're going to go ahead and remove this one off. And then my star will go on this other one. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a glue dot on the back of my star. And then again, if you need to kind of trim so you're not seeing so much of that plastic, you can do that. So I'm putting that on the back. There. Stay. Oh, why is that not sticking? Let's try this again. Put a little bit of adhesive on here. There it goes. Okay, and then my star, I think we'll do right about here. And then you'll want to go ahead and trim off this excess so that it doesn't peek out from your cardstock. There we go. Okay, so now I have my pieces on there. Now the fun part is then you're going to match up this flap onto the side that's got the adhesive. So I just kind of hold it, making sure I'm edge to edge, corner to corner. Then I pinch it, because with the tear and tape, once it's down, and you can't pry it apart. So you want to make sure that is all good. And then same thing, do on the other side. Corner to corner, edge to edge. Give the one side a pinch. And then over, pull, and then it will, whoops, and tuck in and flatten. Okay. Then, because I have to add a little bit of bling to my card, these are the new little gilded gems. So pretty. Woo-hoo, love it. And I'm going to put one of these on the center of my little glitter star. And then that is it. That is your shadow box card. So you've got that little fun movement, and it's a decor piece. It stands up straight, or it stands up on display. So super fun. I'd love to see your creations that you do with these shadow box card. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to my channel, and thanks for the support. Have a good day. Bye.